You ever have one of those mornings where you're so sure it's just going to be another regular Tuesday? Maybe a little coffee out on the porch, the sun not even up all the way, and then the universe decides to just throw a circus parade down your driveway? Yeah, that happened to me. Let me set the scene. 7 a.m., diesel engines grumbling like a bear with a toothache, and not just one, but two massive tow trucks slow rolling up to my house, idling right in front of my place like they're about to repo half the block. I'm standing there, Coast Guard sweatshirt still half zipped, mug in hand, just watching these guys hop out and start dragging chains and hooks like they're about to yank a tank out of swamp. So, I step outside, try to play it cool, because honestly, you learn pretty quick in the service that yelling never fixes stupid. You know what I mean? Three guys are circling my covered Coast Guard patrol vessel, eyeing it like buzzards at a picnic. "Morning, gentlemen," I say, doing my best not to sound like I already want to throw them into the bay. "Mind telling me why you're on my property?" The biggest one, he looks like his coveralls haven't seen a washing machine since Bush was president. Doesn't even look up. "Got orders from the HOA," he says dead flat. "Says this abandoned boat's gotta go. Been here over 30 days. I almost spit my coffee. "Abandoned? Buddy, that boat's been in my driveway a whole 12 days. Not only that, it's a 28-foot Coast Guard response vessel, federally owned, and technically the most expensive thing on my block by a mile. I'd recommend you stop what you're doing and leave immediately." I tell them, phone already out. "This boat belongs to the United States Coast Guard. I have the paperwork right here." He just shrugs like, "Not my problem, pal. If you got a beef, take it up with the president." He grunts, nodding toward the HOA office down the street. Now, let me back up a sec. Name's Jake Sullivan, 15 years in the Coast Guard, mostly fleet maintenance and disaster response. The sort of job where you figure you've seen every kind of weird. 6 months back, I moved to Pelican Bay, nice little community right on the water. Figured it'd be a good place to settle for a while. Well, I didn't know. 3 months before I got here, the whole neighborhood got itself a new HOA president, Karen Bellwether. Yeah, her name really is Karen. Sometimes the universe just writes its own punchlines. She had this idea that being HOA president was like a royal coronation. Suddenly, every blade of grass, every mailbox, every stray kayak became her personal crusade. It all started when I brought the patrol boat home for some routine checks. Part of my job, sometimes vessels get stored off base for maintenance, but only if the property meets federal security standards. Mine did. I even went around, introduced myself to the neighbors, explained why the boat was here, let their kids come look. Most folks thought it was cool. The Johnsons next door brought their grandkids over, took photos. Mr. Peterson across the street, Navy vet, saluted it every morning like it was the USS Enterprise. But Karen? She saw it as a declaration of war against her perfectly trimmed hedges. 3 days after the boat showed up, I get a notice on my door. Comic Sans font, laminated like it was the Magna Carta. It claimed I was breaking HOA rules, recreational vehicles, watercraft, commercial equipment, you name it. I sent her all my Coast Guard paperwork, explained that not only was it not recreational, but federal law actually supersedes HOA bylaws. Next day, she fires back with a certified letter, all but telling me she wipes her shoes with my so-called federal forms. Apparently, in her world, the HOA rules are right up there with the 10 Commandments. I tried to be diplomatic, invited her over to check out the boat, see the paperwork for herself. She shows up with 2 board members, clipboard in hand, haircut that probably cost more than my monthly fuel budget, and that smile people reserve for telemarketers and DMV lines. "Mr. Sullivan," she says, like she's reading my name off a list of suspects. "I don't care if this boat belongs to the Queen of England. It's an eyesore. It's lowering property values. It needs to go." I walk her around, show her the Coast Guard insignia, federal property tags, official letters, everything. She's snapping pictures, but you can tell she's not here to learn. She's here to build her case. Then she starts picking at the cover color. Not navy blue or forest green, it's gray. That's not an approved HOA color. "Lady, it's a military-grade cover." "Then it should be on a military base," she snaps. "You have 7 days to remove it, or you'll be fined $50 a day." I keep my cool, tell her, "Ma'am, with all due respect, You can't fine me for storing government equipment. This isn't my boat. It's your country's boat. She snorts. The HOA protects this neighborhood, not your little boat club. Yeah, you heard that right. 7 days later, the fines start. $50 a day, right on schedule. Then comes the creativity. Suddenly I'm violating noise ordinances. The boat hasn't made a peep. My driveway's too full. The tarp's violating airspace. I'm pretty sure she made that last one up over breakfast. 2 weeks in, I supposedly owe over $2,000 in fines. She even mails copies to every resident, posts my boat all over the community Facebook page. Captioned, "Is this the neighborhood we want?" Most people just laugh it off, but a few start grumbling. HOA meetings get heated. My neighbors offer to back me up, but Karen's packed the board with her friends and runs those meetings like she's auditioning for a role as a Bond villain. So I show up at the big boat hearing, folder in hand. Not alone, a Coast Guard legal officer, Lieutenant Commander Patricia Wells, comes with me. She stands up during the meeting, voice clear and calm, and lays it all out. Petty Officer Sullivan is conducting authorized maintenance on a Coast Guard vessel. This isn't an HOA issue. Interfering with this vessel is a federal offense. Karen's face goes so red, I swear you could toast marshmallows off her forehead. "This is a closed community matter," she yells. Wells doesn't even blink. "Ma'am, I represent the federal government. Your rules do not supersede federal law. Keep pushing, and you'll find out how far that goes." People start shouting, some backing her, some looking ready to hide under their chairs. Karen pushes through a resolution, declares the boat a nuisance, authorizes its removal by any means necessary. She grins at me on the way out. "HOA rules override everything, Mr. Sullivan. You'll learn that soon enough." Fast forward to the next Tuesday. I come home from the base, and the boat's gone. Not moved, gone. Cover will chocks tossed on the grass, my security cams spray painted over. But my neighbor's camera catches the whole show. Karen out there at sunrise, directing the tow truck like she's General Patton, taking selfies as they haul the boat away. Thing is, you can't just disappear a government vessel, especially not one with classified equipment. I don't even bother with local police. I call Coast Guard Investigative Service. Within an hour, my base commander is involved. Within 2, a federal task force is rolling. The boat turns up 15 miles away in a commercial tow yard, dumped like a piece of junk. The yard owner totally freaked out as soon as he sees federal agents. And then, the kicker, work order signed by Karen herself, paid for with the HOA's credit card. When agents show up at the HOA office, Karen's sitting there like the queen she thinks she is, photos of the boat all over her desk. She goes pale when the agents come in. "Karen Bellwether?" She barely nods. "You're under investigation for theft of government property, interfering with federal operations, and misuse of HOA funds." She tries to bluster, but the agent just reads her the evidence. My warnings, Coast Guard letters, video of her directing the theft. "I'd recommend you stop talking and call a lawyer." The fallout was biblical. Feds subpoena the HOA financials. Turns out Karen's spent almost $8,000 of community funds on this stunt, plus issued bogus fines, pocketed some of the cash, and bullied residents for years. And the boat? The towing company's rough, handling wrecked classified communication gear and navigation systems. What started as a petty feud was now a full-blown national security incident. The Coast Guard's pissed, the U.S. Attorney's licking his chops. The HOA board panics, calls an emergency meeting without Karen, who's suddenly busy with bail hearings. They drop all fines, apologize to me, resign in droves. Residents finally start sharing stories. Years of intimidation, threats, fake fines. The Facebook page turns into a support group for HOA survivors. I spend weeks helping federal agents document every scratch, every ruined bolt. Repairs run over $40,000, not counting the cost of new classified equipment. Karen's arraignment is a media circus. She tries the same old spiel. "I was just protecting the neighborhood." The judge, a retired Navy officer, isn't buying it. Karen gets 18 months in federal prison, $30,000 restitution, 5 years probation, banned from any HOA board forever. She faints when she hears the sentence. literally collapses, muttering about property values and rules. The Coast Guard thanks me publicly. Local news runs the story, and overnight, Karen becomes the national poster child for out-of-control HOA presidents. Her real estate business? Clients vanish. Her reputation? Torched. The community starts rebuilding. Neighbors talk to each other again. Folks smile a little more. Mr. Peterson even throws a backyard barbecue for the victory over tyranny. So here's my question to you. How far should power really go in neighborhood? Who actually gets to decide what's best for everyone? Drop your stories, your HOA nightmares, your thoughts on justice and right versus wrong down in the comments. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because trust me, there's always another wild tale just around the corner.